Bad Movie Beatdown. Today I'm reviewing the prehistoric action film 10,000 BC, so it's sure to be a mammoth review! From director Roland Emmerich, the German visionary behind such turd heaps as Godzilla, The Day After Tomorrow and Moon 44, 10,000 BC is yet another affront to the intelligence of the average moviegoer, as well as historical accuracy and all known laws of physics and geography. Emmerich himself has been on-off over the years. Occasionally he can produce something with a decent opening act, only to self-destruct in later stages due to a nauseating amount of xenophobia and the kind of science that makes geeks cry. Independence Day was of course a major hit, and remains highly ranked among the list of most successful films at the box office ever. Happy 4th of July, Daddy! It's not like we're in a recession! Emmerich also directed The Patriot, not to be confused with the Steven Seagal movie of the same name, which has actually been called a good film in some circles despite depicting the English unanimously as pompous, murdering, country-stealing wankers, which I found very offensive. Rule Britannia! However, 10,000 BC is utterly devoid of the good traits that managed to save some of his earlier work, boasting only his typical eye for dodgy overused CGI, sludgy pacing, and brain-twisting plot convolution. It was the brainchild of both Emmerich and his partner in crime, Harold Closer, who co-wrote and co-scored. And another one joins my death list right next to Video Ring Credo. So the film starts with some swooping shots of the scenery in, well, it already looks like Mel Gibson's Apocalypto, a similarity that isn't solely confined to the opening sequence.
Fuck you!
Only time can teach us what is truth and what is legend.
So the mandatory cliche narration begins, this one in particular provided by one Omar Sharif?
English!
Wow, he's fallen on hard times.
Only one amongst us. The one we called Old Mother, the last of her kind.
You mean the people who saw Godzilla survived long enough to tell the tale? Holy crap, they're endangered! I know, I'm one of them. So the Old Mother has a violent orgasm of sorts and gets a restraining order. It's supposed to be a vision, but 4 minutes in and I don't really give a toss. Here we're introduced to our future hero, Delay, and his future damsel, Evelyn, as children. The latter has been found abandoned, isolated from her tribe. The father of the former, the carrier of the white spear, departs suddenly, leaving his son in the care of Tick-Tick, played by Cliff Curtis. Tick-Tick? That's really what you're going to call him? Why don't you just call him bloody Tic-Tac? That's what I'm going to call him.
I will watch over your son, as if he were my own.
I know you will, but promise me you will tell no one why I left.
Okay, they speak English, I'm fine with that. Of course, they all speak English with a non-uniform native accent. Not to mention, that's some pretty good teeth as well. I guess the rumours about NHS dentistry were false. So we speed through the protagonist's childhood years in which Delay is bullied for his father's abandonment of the village, and early sparks fly between the two socially isolated children. Love interest already? This is getting silly. We then cut to Delay as a young man with a rumour circulating that the prophecy is about to come true. A contest is being launched to see who can gain the white spear, previously belonging to Delay's father, and claim Evelyn, who single-handedly proves that Foundation isn't in short supply several millennia before it was invented. Delay is determined to succeed, so he vows to kill the mammoth so they can be together. Shh, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting Roland Emmerich. So the action scene begins with them triggering a stampede to lure a mammoth into a trap. They succeed in trapping it in a rope net, but spend years standing around gawping at it instead of securing it. It then breaks free, of course, and they chase after it. Delay stupidly gets trapped, and lucky for him, it falls on his spear. A single spear killed a woolly mammoth? That's like killing a human with a strip of nylon. Delay is given the white spear and the right to marry Evelyn, but he doesn't feel he deserves it as he killed the mammoth by accident. Dude, you got what you wanted! Just kneel with your massive trunk or give me something worth watching! You may have noticed that there's not many clips in this episode. Well, I'll give you a hint of the average dialogue in this movie.
I was not brave, and I did not hunt as one.
The fathers of the Yagal played with us today.
What should I do?
Yeah, I'm sparing you. Trust me. So after 20 whole minutes of prehistoric Dawson's Creek, the four-legged demons invade the village, decimating innocent civilians. This is so similar to Apocalypto, only set in snowy mountains that it's bordering on insulting. A foreign language! Evil! Delay is prevented from rushing in to save the captured villagers by Tic Tac, and the two are about to go after the kidnappers and rescue their fellow villagers, and Karen, the moody wanker, is told to accompany them. Meanwhile, just to further prove how evil foreigners are, Evelyn is harassed by some of her kidnappers. Wow, a foreigner with a moral compass! I wonder if that will become important in the film's predictable climax. So our heroes set off on their journey at bloody last, only 25 minutes in. They are caught up by Baku, a young boy newly orphaned by the raid, who wants to follow them. They find a trinket left behind by Evelyn to prove she's still alive. Before long they're trapped in a blizzard fighting for dear life. Hang on, how the hell do they know where they're going? The blizzard would have covered up the tracks. Are they just following star signs and voodoo bullshit? So they reach the end of— what the fuck? The snow just ends? No gradual temperature shift, no altitude drop, it just ends? Climate doesn't work that way! So Evelyn is discovered to be leaving symbols and is whipped by the nice kidnapper. Evelyn appears to find this just about as distressing as smudged eyeliner. The following day, Delay finds the blood-stained necklace and follows them down into—
It is hot here.
the rainforest. A tropical rainforest clearly divided by a single line. Now, maybe my geography isn't up to par, but are you kidding me? They caught up with them already? How? They were 36 hours behind! So the villains are marching on through the forest when one of them is attacked by some thing. So the attacking monster is completely ignored and the villains set up camp, the heroes looking on. They decide not to attack tonight and one of the kidnappers begins to harass Evelyn again. Remember, these people are evil. Evil! Evil in a foreign language. El Diablo! Delay, going against his word, knocks him out and the two have a little embrace.
I will never give you up again.
You didn't leave her, she was kidnapped. Emmerich, stop trying to make a flawed hero when this character is clearly as three-dimensional as a piece of cardboard. Delay then tries to free more prisoners but is stopped in the act by the arrival of the kidnappers. It seems like they are cornered when the random plot strand they abandoned earlier returns. With a vengeance. It seems they're being attacked by giant killer dodos. It has a ring to it, I suppose. So they're being chased through the jungle, which suddenly sprouts bamboo! So now we're in the South China tropics? Where are we? So Delay manages to kill one of the dodos and survive the onslaught, but Baku and Karen are captured, Tic Tac wounded. No, not Cliff Curtis, you were the best thing in this movie! Delay rescues Evelyn, but she is recaptured. So that entire sequence where he rescues her and the tension between Delay and Karen was completely pointless and a waste of my time. Screw this movie, it's insulting. The tropics are right there. Are they trying to consciously insult all human reasoning? So Delay has dragged Tic Tac into the desert and begins cauterizing the wound? And why exactly did he need to drag him into the desert to do this? At night, Delay goes hunting and falls into a hole. What the heck is a saber-toothed tiger doing in there? Oh, and every so often we cut back to the mystical woman in the village who senses that something bad is happening every time. Great! It's not like I can see this for myself. I don't need to be told how to feel. It begins to rain and Delay notices that the tiger is trapped and he is being eyed by some hungry killer birds. So he scares the birds away and prepares to kill the tiger.
Do not eat me when I set you free.
Oh please, that'll never work. So this tiger not only understands English, but compassion? So they wake up the following morning where there is no sign whatsoever left by the torrential rain the previous night, to find there has been an attack by the kidnappers on a nearby village. They enter the seemingly deserted village and eat some leftover food, but they are being watched by the village survivors who surprise them and hold them up at spear point, only for everyone's favourite plot device to turn up.
Move away. You must remember me. I gave you life.
Yes, I'm sure the saber-toothed tiger will remember you and save your life. I hate this stupid movie. So the tiger goes away again because it's a thinly veiled plot point. So Tic Tac and Delay are treated to a meal of chili peppers? Where are those coming from in this environment? So in a shocking twist, the tribe chief turns out to have been taught English by Delay's father, who had gone to live with the tribe in search of food, but before being kidnapped by the very same people who took Everett away.
Where do they take them?
To the mountain of the gods. No one has ever returned. Our wise man says you will lead us there.
Me?
We have a telling that one day the one will come who will free our people. The one who speaks to the spear tooth.
Corny philosophy does not justify wasting 10 minutes of screen time on scenes that were only made for the poster.
A good man draws a circle around himself and cares for those within. His woman, his children. Other men draw a larger circle and bring with them their brothers and sisters. But some men have a greater destiny. They must draw around themselves a circle that includes many, many more.
Several tribes, grieving those kidnapped by the raiders, gather in order to be led by Delay to attack the fiends who grieved them. Meanwhile, Baku is having a jolly time on the prisoner line. Is that a plastic bottle? What the hell? How can a blatant anachronism pass like that? I've seen better production values in school plays, and they were much more entertaining.
The great birds have arrived.
Oh great, giant boats have come out of nowhere despite the fact that they were invented 6,000 years after this film was supposed to be set. And where are we now? We appear to be in the Egyptian Sahara Desert. So let's recap. Okay, we started here in the Ural Mountains in western Russia according to documentation. We then had a very smooth transition into the Brazilian rainforest, which then moved to the South China tropical bamboo forest. We were then in a savanna environment, and now we're in the desert. Join the dots and it makes no sense. It's utterly stupid in every conceivable way, and believe me, we haven't even got to the stupid stuff yet. So instead of following the river like any sensible person would do in an environment which you have no clues as to your position at all, they venture on through the desert dunes and unsurprisingly start dropping like flies. That's brilliant, Delay! Walk through the desert with shortening supplies and get yourself completely lost! I can't see how that plan could fail! After getting lost like a bunch of prehistoric cavemen do, they decide to follow a bright star and lo and behold it guides them to the fucking pyramids! The pyramids? Are you kidding me? 7,000 years early! Now they're time travelling as well as globe hopping? And they're using full scaffolding, and a freaking crane, and metal, and winter mammoths for labour in a climate they clearly couldn't survive in, and the top is even gold plated! How the hell did they get this? How do they wield it? Do they have blow torches? Am I going completely mad? So the leader, the fake god, known as the Almighty, is paraded through the construction site. No, not an extra, no! So Delay decides to break into the slave camp after dark to try and initiate a rebellion by the slaves. He finds Baku and Karen and is introduced to the blind man who tells him more about the gods. He needs to have the Mark of the Hunter in order to defeat the gods, and as this riveting exposition is going on, the guards enter in force. But he notices a bracelet of his father's.
Where did you get it?
From the man who saved his life.
Where is he?
His bones are buried in the sand with all the others.
So he's dead. Not like I didn't see that one coming. So the tribe army are discovered by two guards and Tic Tac makes sure they don't get away. This, the angle of the spear has moved at least 50 degrees. The only way that happens is through the powers of directorial incompetence. No! Cliff Curtis! You were so important after you nearly died the first time. I am a mentor. I have to die. For reals this time. Meanwhile, the perverted guard frees Evelyn so he can have his way with her, turning a potentially interesting hero for the wrong team character into a rapist. No moral ambiguity, it will screw with our little tiny minds! The priests burst in and arrest the guard on suspicion of stealing. They approach Evelyn in order to remove the knife, but paying more attention to the scars on her hand. Could that be the Mark of the Hunter, perhaps? How convenient that that's the thing we need to use to take down the Almighty. I hate this film! So the Almighty is now convinced he is to be killed because of the sign. Evelyn is thrown into a room along with maps and pens and compasses and rulers and a whole host of things they should not have in 10,000 BC! Her marks are examined further and compared with the constellation with a telescope. Ah yes, the common telescope that wasn't invented until the 17th century! What next, honestly? Nuclear weapons? Actually, that might make the film a bit entertaining. Delay decides it is time for their attack, which is odd given his name. I thought he'd put it off or something. He performs a rousing speech to inspire the troops.
We, the people of the Agal, hunt the mightiest of beasts, the Manak.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our wigs! So their plan is put into action, fighting on the top platform and throwing people off the edge. The clashes lead to a mammoth stampede, yet again confirming a reason not to use mammoths. The Almighty orders them to take Everett out of the high platform and rip her apart, in hoping it will end the rebellion and get rid of the source of his misfortunes. How will one sacrifice stop the riot, and how does he know of her significance to the leader of the uprising when he has no idea who it is? So the Almighty gives Delay an offer. Give up the slaves and the rebellion so he can have Evelyn and all of his troops can return safely. He pretends to agree before launching the spear directly at the fake god. Wow, that was surprisingly badass. Unfortunately, that was already done in 300. Back to the generic action scene then. Evelyn is kidnapped by the sole morally conscious guard who's now turned evil in order to give us an antagonist for the last few minutes, and Evelyn stabs him with an arrow, forcing him both off their horse. As Evelyn runs towards Delay, she is shot in the back with an arrow. While the rest of the cast are celebrating their victory, Delay is mourning the imminent passing of Evelyn.
Please.
I'm not even going to pretend I sound enthusiastic. I don't care. She can't act. Apparently the village elder back in the Urals sacrificed herself remotely to save Evelyn's life, but frankly it's a bullshit cop-out. So liberated, the villagers part and the Naku leave a special passing gift for Delay.
They will feed your people.
Tell them the people of the Yagal thank the Naku people.
Really? That's gonna feed a whole village? A bag of raw popcorn seeds? I'm done. Seriously, I can't be bothered applying logic to this movie anymore. So they make their way home and he plants a few seeds and oh, that's it. Time for a pad extravaganza of an 11-minute credit reel. So that was 10,000 BC, one of the most insulting films I've had to review. The visual effects are impressive and the visual style, while stolen, is effective for the film's scenarios. However, it is among the most insulting of the films I've had to review because it's a film that cheats. It takes a date, but it has no concern for historical or geographical accuracy. It thinks its audience are idiots. This film cheated and I feel cheated. I'm Matthew Buck, and right now, I feel like a dodo sandwich.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, they're the monotonic family. From the town of Bedrock, they're a page right out of his story. Let's ride with the family down the street, through the courtesy of friends to keep. When you're with the Flintstones, have a yabba dabba tea time.